or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another open show. We do it each and every week just like this. We're right here in the Boogie Down Bronx, and you can check us out all over the place. We bring the world to you. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Coming up on today's show, we'll take a look at a unique project changing how we see. After that, we'll find out about an event giving people all over the place an opportunity to excel. Plus, we'll learn all about a movement to make education instrumental and keep the arts alive. Later on, we'll get a preview of an award. So stay tuned. Open. How you doing, everybody? I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B. You can catch me on each and every night right after The Quiet Storm with Lenny Green, and then out in the morning with Steve Harvey Morning Show. But today we are broadcasting right here from Channel 67's Open, and you're watching a beautiful program. It's called Open, and it's the one and only live interactive program that brings the Bronx and the whole world straight to your TV set. We got a great show lined up for you today, but first let's check with our resident DJ Vince Bracey. How are you, my brother?
Dr. Bob Lee.
On the ones and twos, you got a different kind of mix up there.
Yeah, I got a new setup today.
You got the whole board going on, right?
Oh yes, got a lot of fun later.
How was your weekend?
The weekend was great. I hosted a couple of weddings.
So you get a lot of business from being on this show.
Not necessarily for being on the show. I would like to get more.
There you go.
If you need
how do we
me.
contact you?
VinceBracey.com.
Well, wait a minute. And you go out and you host the weddings? Do you help with the programming of it and everything?
I do help a little bit with the programming. There's, sometimes the bride and the groom on their busy day, they don't have enough time to do everything. So, and everybody doesn't always have a wedding planner. So I try to take care of.
Oh, that's good.
Stuff.
So we got to call you down.
Please.
We have something called New Beginnings, and I've been doing weddings for a long time. I host them, I DJ them. We bring bands, harpists, pianists, and all that stuff like that.
Let me know.
Maybe we can collaborate.
Definitely be down.
Let me find out.
Yes.
So uptown they had the African Day Parade.
Yes,
right. That was on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Before that they had the big basketball game at Giant Stadium.
Okay.
Virginia State and a college out of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I think it was Benedict College.
Really?
And a lot of other things in the community. Big things that, you go in, you make an appearance, hey, how you doing? You break out. And you announce and thank everybody for showing up on the radio.
That's what I want to do, Bob. I'm trying to be like you.
No, I want to be like you. All right, we'll check out one another, all right?
Oh,
we can collaborate.
All right.
DJ Vince, give him a big round of applause, everybody. Yes. Here we go. And return this way. Our first guest has been hand-selected to test Google's wearable computing device, known as Glass. And she joins us now to share more about what she will be exploring. So we welcome Ruth Papazan.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. I am a glass explorer, and how I got to be one, Google had a contest on Twitter way back in February, and they had you use the hashtag if I had glass, and then you had to tell them what you do with it.
Yeah, but what is a glass explorer, though?
Well, I'm a beta tester, and I'm out in the community.
What is a beta tester?
It's an experimental device, and it's not, it's being developed for market. It's probably going to be released in about a year and a half. Yeah. That's about the last timetable I saw.
Because we have a lot of tech heads in here, and but there are a lot of people that don't know the ins and outs of these things. So you have to, talk in layman's terms.
I'm sure we'll be getting to that. But very few people really have these. The contest attracted something like 88,000 entries, and Google culled them down to about 1 in 10, maybe fewer, around the world that it chose to give glass to the opportunity to use glass to pursue a project. And when I tweeted in the contest, I tweeted that if I had glass, I would be the only hipster in the Bronx. I would vlog about why the Bronx deserves respect and a Whole Foods on Morris Park Avenue.
There you go.
And that was my tweet. A couple of months later, I found out again on Twitter that I was selected as a glass explorer, and I have since found out that I am indeed the only one in the Bronx, which does make me a Bronx hipster.
Did you jump for joy?
If I was able to do cartwheels, I probably would have done one, and yes, I was very happy.
Because what does that entitle you to do? Now, because you know exactly what you want to do with it.
That's the first hurdle right there. I was faced with the prospect of taking a 140-character kind of flippant tweet and turning that into a program. And I'm starting to read about surgeons taking it into the operating room, and I'm starting to freak out thinking, oh my gosh, what can I do that's as cool as a surgeon going into an operating room? So then I pretty much broke the tweet down into 3 parts, the Bronx hipster part. So I decided, why don't I focus on indie musicians, artists, artisans, filmmakers, people that you would expect to find in Williamsburg, but never in the Bronx.
Not in the Bronx.
Not in the Bronx. So I wanted to focus on really creative, cool people doing things right here in the borough, and that would also take care of the respect part, because you know, we're the Rodney Dangerfield of the boroughs. And I think that that's really unfair, and I wanted to spotlight the best part of the Bronx. But then the serious part of the project actually does center on Whole Foods. The fact of the matter is, the entire Bronx, no matter what zip code, what demographic, the entire Bronx is underserved by major retailers, franchisers, etc. And I remember that one of the past borough presidents ran into the CEO of Starbucks and asked him, why aren't there any Starbucks in the Bronx? And without even taking a moment to frame his answer in a way that might not hurt his feelings, the CEO said, oh, the Bronx, that's not our audience. That's not our customer.
Adolfo Carrion.
Yes. And he convinced him otherwise, and there are now, I think, 5 Starbucks in the Bronx, all doing great business. Unfortunately, you can go into a 5-block radius of Manhattan and find 10 Starbucks. So we have fewer Starbucks in all of the Bronx than just a small piece of Manhattan. So we have a lot of work to do. But certainly, in terms of supermarkets, there are fewer supermarkets of a large size, 30,000 square feet and above, here in the Bronx than the Department of Health recommends. And I want to do something about that.
And you're going to do that with the glass?
Yes.
A lot of people still don't know what that glass is, but they heard about it.
I can show it to you.
All right, let's take a look at it. Because we're still riding underneath the wave here.
Yeah. I used to be one of those women who carried a very small purse until I got glass. So now I have to...
But very heavy.
I have to carry a purse that has all of my...
That's a nice purse.
Thank you. So glass is usually tethered to an Android phone, and so this is the Galaxy S4, so I have to carry this around. And taking videos especially eats up a lot of battery, so I have to carry around a spare battery.
That's for the glass or for your
that's for
Android?
That's for the glass and the cord. And now this is glass. Now, they call it glass because unlike my glasses, there is just one eyepiece. And this is a wearable computing device. This is sort of like the screen on a smartphone. This is the CPU. And this thing here is a bone conduction device. Now, glass is calibrated to my Gmail account, to 10 of my contacts, my social media sites, etc. And what happens is I can ask glass to read emails from these people, or I can send emails, text messages.
You can ask, so it has like a Siri person in there?
Something like that. It responds to voice commands.
Yeah, Siri's the other people, but you know.
Right. So this responds to voice commands. I could do a Google search. I can send and receive emails, text messages, and make phone calls. Now, the phone calls is kind of interesting because, well, you know, I'm not holding anything to my ear. This is hands-free. How do I hear? The person on the other end comes through here. It goes inside the bones of my skull.
Wow.
And I hear it in my ear just as though I had earbuds on.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, a lot of people have prescription glasses, as do I. And you see, this can fit comfortably over my glasses because they're small. But I generally tend to use them without glasses because it's just more comfortable for me.
Yes.
And
okay, so how does it work?
so basically, you can operate it in several different ways. I'm going to just make sure if it's on.
By using
So-
your eye.
Well,
I heard something come on.
yes. I can say, okay, glass, take a picture. And if it's on, it will take a picture. I think the bright lights of the studio are probably obscuring the visual
Yeah,
display.
I'll cover it up.
But there are
You got to go
basically
back to the old school. You with that blanket that they put over the camera.
right, exactly. So basically, there's several different ways you can interact with glass. You can give it voice commands. So you can say, okay, glass, take a picture. Okay, glass, record a video. You can ask it to Google something. You can, or you can do all these functions. Supposing you're in a noisy environment, you can do all these functions by swiping and tapping. And
So
and
they let
this-
you test whatever you want to test, right? They gave it to you. You can test whatever, and then send it back to them.
No, no, we are doing projects with them, and whatever it is you want to do. And my project actually involves the Bronx, and that's what I basically am going to show the world the Bronx through my eyes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
when I take a picture, when I take a video, when I walk around recording things with glass, doing interviews with people, you are seeing through my eyes.
So
You
journalists are going to be
there.
using this all over the place then.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people have talked about glass in terms of broadcast journalism, but I actually see a role in print journalism for glass.
Yeah.
First of all, our profession, print journalism, is becoming multimedia. I know that one Chicago paper fired its photographers, and it told the reporters, when you're out on the street getting quotes, take pictures, take videos, bring them back. This is a great way of doing that. It's very unobtrusive. It's hands-free. Just the other day, I was interviewing somebody, and he really didn't see a camera between me and him. He relaxed, and he
Yes.
opened up to me in a way that he never opened up to anybody before.
Yeah, I guess people are afraid of microphones and cameras and everything like that. So if they see something like that, they'll wonder and they'll have that look. What the
So-
heck is that? But you can accomplish. They'll feel a little more comfortable. They
Right.
won't be as frightened. Okay, we're going to take a break right here. This whole thing is changing the world of journalism, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's starting to. It's starting to have an effect. People are starting to think of ways of telling stories that they couldn't before.
So where can people get more information on this?
Well, of course, Google has a website, and a lot of CNET and a lot of tech sites have been writing about it. And for anybody who wants to know more about my project, if you're on Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook, Bronx Hipster,
Whoa.
that's the key word to use, and you can see everything about my
There you
Williamsbridge,
go.
the undiscovered Williamsburg project.
Ruth Papazan, give a big round of applause, everybody. Google Glass Explorer, the only one in the Bronx. We thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break right here, but coming up, we'll get a preview of the Bronx Library Career Expo. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dante Lemon from Open 2.0 on BronxNet, the show by teens, for teens, and about teens. Catch us every Friday at 4:30 and anytime on the web by going to www.bronxnet.org.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry. I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book could be the first helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
I don't know what's happening. Start a new chat. What did I do? Okay. Wow. That is so weird.
Hey! Hi!
Oh my gosh. Hi! God, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Gia, you're so big. Come closer to the camera. Wait, now you're in my face. That was so good.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and today we have something very special for you. September 18th, the Bronx Library will host a panel discussion and career expo. We are pleased to be joined today by Robin Saunders. She's been here before, career coach, Brandy McNeil, head of technology training, and Kabir, Mr. Kabir, they call him. They call him that all over the Bronx, too. And they're all from the New York Public Library. We welcome you guys to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, so we have this big career expo. I mean, you were here before. You were talking about some of the special things. We even had you on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's calling me, asking me about, where's that library? So what's going to be taking place?
Well, Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., we are actually holding the Job Expo. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to come back and let you guys know so that way the Bronx can be informed so they can come out.
Uh-huh. And what should people bring stuff with them, resumes and stuff like that?
Definitely. Bring your resume, dress appropriately.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be hiring on the spot for some people.
Woo!
So
There you go.
Definitely.
Right on the spot.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do people need, Mr. Kabir?
Well, they have to be prepared for the expo because we are bringing a lot of employers, and they have to have their good resume. So last couple of months or so, we try to get so many people, standing out resume, and so many people are hooked up with those old-fashioned resume format. But fortunately, our career coach, she designed her own format of resumes, and honestly, I never seen any resume format in my lifetime.
Yeah, especially somebody who's been working for a long time.
It's very
and
customized.
Put together a resume in a while.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
or somebody who's never done one.
I think most of the patrons who have come in, and we were able to assist with these types of resumes, these new resumes. We were able to assist them with gaining employment, but meaningful employment.
Yeah.
Places that they want to work at, places where they feel their best and can produce. And they're more productive.
And it translates into not only a job but a career.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So you're coaching people into it, huh?
That's what they say.
So how did you come up with this template? And why was it that one that you chose?
The reason why is because we are constantly, the world is evolving. Everything about professional development is evolving. And so we are often asking people to reinvent themselves. We're asking companies to do more to assist people who reinvent themselves. However, we're coming to the table with old resumes, the resumes that my grandfather had. And so many a time when I, as an employer, I would see these resumes and I would go, wow, they all look exactly
And they worked back then.
alike. However, the difference is that when an employer asks you what makes you different, and you're telling him one thing, and he's looking at your resume with a lot of others, and in actuality, you're saying you are just like everybody else. And so what we're doing is designing something, a resume that can sell, that they're proud of, that they're confident with, in addition to the suits. You know the suits came in. Right, so people are coming back and they're excited. They're bringing their families and their friends, and they're saying, no, we don't want the old template. Give us the new stuff. And so that's what we do. We're here to give them an instrument that they can use to excel.
And Brandy, you know, that resume says a whole lot about you before you even get a chance to go eye to eye with the person who's going to interview you. So that's a whole representation of you and what you're about without them seeing you.
Definitely.
So it has to be special and different.
Yeah, and we've been actually, you know, we had the panel discussions that we've been having. We had 4 sessions, and we had such a huge turnout, over 100 people every time. And that was to help prepare them for this expo coming up on September 18th. So that they're ready, not just with the resume, but if you had to be ready with technology, if you had to be ready with knowing how to do an interview via Skype, right? So we were preparing them with that as well.
Gosh, you'll make me excited.
I'm coming. Who's going to be there? Who's representing? Who are these people? Who can I go and get a job from?
Well, we are expecting at least 50 employers, including Montefiore, St. Mary Hospital, the Bronx Net also going to be there. We are also inviting many other community members,
community-based organizations,
and I can name a few: Dress for Success, Gotcha Tech. They're really, I mean, they're doing phenomenal job in their areas. So yeah, I have you know, quite a few lists, but you know, this is what I came up with now.
So the resume is important, but you have to present yourself well too when they ask you to come up to be interviewed.
Really, they do.
So Dress for Success,
Dress
they
for
help out, right?
Success.
You got to come in suit and tie or whatever.
Yes, in fact, for the women, they prepared and dressed quite a few women who gained employment thereafter. And Regina Norman was absolutely incredible. In fact, she was a part of the last panel discussion. She nailed it right on the head. Of course, the Men's Warehouse also provided the suits for the men. In addition, I got a call from World Changers, which is, Creflo Dollar. They're sending over suits today and tomorrow.
Well,
and
Creflo
so,
can send a whole lot of his own personal suits.
I was trying to
he wears
get
a different one every day, doesn't wear the same thing twice.
I felt like I needed to call them. And so they have come through to help the patrons of this community.
And it's so important. I mean, you know, it's one thing to send in a resume, you know, somebody can set that up just right where it looks good and feels good for everybody, but when you come in there for that presentation and, you know, you want to come in like you from the hood, you know, because a lot of us can speak hood, you know, yo, what's up with that and all that. You can't use that when you go to try to get that job.
Exactly.
An interview. Yo, I'm just chilling, you know. I'm, you know, and you got your pants hanging a little bit, you know.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. But we have had the opportunity to meet all types.
So you have to speak the language.
Yes,
you know,
we've got to speak the
language. Know
language.
what to do, know what to say, know how to be.
Exactly, and that was more of the reason why individuals needed to participate in the panel discussion. However, for those who weren't able to participate in the panel discussion, guess what? We've got interview prep the day of the job expo. So that way, if you
so
want
you can cram right on that same day.
Oh my goodness! If you wanted to meet with an employer, you can be prepped before meeting that employer. So that way it'll shake off the edge of nervousness. You can talk clearly about what it is that you do and what it is that you can offer.
Right, right.
You
leave the hood behind. We all grew up, a lot of us grew up in the hood. We know how to do that, but we're going to have to know how to do this too. You know, get up there and tell them what you want.
I think one of Kabir's favorites is "Ain't Nobody Got Time for That." And so we were talking about that, and I said, that's true, because we don't have time. Things are moving. We want to keep you
constantly.
Exactly. We want to keep you in the loop. So no, we ain't got no time for that.
But you know, a lot of people can get themselves together, correct themselves, and get a good job. Get a good job, respectable job. You're coming home with some cash, you got some benefits.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling.
And for those, there was one more thing. For those individuals who weren't as really savvy with computers, we offer how many databases?
Well, from the library catalog, we have over 250 databases, and plus, we recently added lynda.com. That has over 1,500 plus video tutorials. It's actually walk you through step by step. It starts from big. Is very helpful for beginners and people who are willing to learn all the way to the advanced level.
So you got everything all under one roof.
Yes.
This is one-stop shop for employers and employers.
And then there's one last thing, branding.
Yeah, you can also come in and do tech classes.
Oh, wow.
So through the NYPL Tech Connect program, we have training everywhere at all branches. So you can come in, they're free classes. So if you need to learn how to get your resume right, that's the name of the class.
Brandy, I'm depending on you. That's part of the song.
Yes.
Where can we get more information?
You can actually get more information. We're doing it several ways. So you have at NYPL Tech Connect. You can tweet us, follow us on Twitter, and we have that. We also have the BLC CEIS, and that's their Facebook page. So you can get more information there.
And it's Wednesday?
It's Wednesday. What time?
September 18th, 11 to 4.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you say it one more time?
September 18th, 11 to 4.
Like you know.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. All right, thank you so much. Robin Saunders, always a pleasure to see you.
Yes.
Brandy, I'm depending on Brandy McDeal, Head of Technology Training, New York Public Library, and Mr. Kabir.
Mr. Kabir.
Thank you so much, you guys.
you
Give
for
them a
having
big round of
us.
applause, everybody. We're going to take a short break. A little baby break. But when we come back, we'll return to find out how one Bronx group is giving back. So don't go anywhere. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. We'll be right back.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Groogs Zinkelpel. Okay, time for cake.
it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Guru. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities. To ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child. Give. Advocate. Volunteer. Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Long before I was in Hollywood, I had a grandmother by the name of Estelle Marie Taylor. Positive role models to make sure that I was on the straight path. Big Brothers Big Sisters carefully screens volunteers and places them in long-term mentoring matches with kids who face adversity. With more volunteers, especially men, and more donations, every little who needs a big can have one. Start something. If it's been a while since you've been involved, start something again. Learn more at bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
And welcome back, everybody. You know, the Bronx Park East neighborhood is partnering with the Bronx schools to hold an instrument drive. It's going to be a goal to keep music alive in our schools. We'll be pleased to be joined by today by the chairman, Raphael Schweitzer. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Instruments in schools. A lot of people have been talking about that for years. Some people are successful with them, and others are like, oh, where do we get these instruments from? How do we upgrade our music department and get people involved? How are you guys doing it?
Well, we're partnering with the school. Earlier in the year, myself and members of my association actually just went into Middle School 135 because for years, for decades, there was a thriving instrumental music program under the direction of Mitch Rubinsky.
Yes.
As well in neighboring Public School 96 and Christopher Columbus High School, there were and still are really good instrumental music programs. And the importance of instrumental music as opposed to maybe a keyboarding class 2 or 3 times a week or other little tidbits of music is you actually get to perform in an ensemble. And it's a very unique educational and also spiritual experience. And myself and my group, we really want to bring that back into our neighborhood schools.
Great.
So in exchange for my association getting the instruments donated, the schools at Middle School 135, which comprises Bronx Park Middle School, Pelham Academy, and Bronx Green Middle School, they are going to pay the music teacher as well as pay the maintenance and the maintenance costs associated with running instrumental.
Who's paying them?
The school will be able to as part of an after-school program.
Okay, so there'll be a grant coming in somewhere.
Somehow, I'm not sure how it'll be financed, but it will be financed.
Wonderful, wonderful. What made you come up with something like this?
I was a product of Mr. Rubinsky's legendary middle school bands. I was a product of.
So you're coming back to give back.
I've always been there.
Yeah. Oh, you never left.
I never left. I haven't been in the school in a while. But when you don't see that in your neighborhood, it's kind of it's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a letdown because out of everything I got out of education in elementary, middle school, and especially high school, the thing that is most lasting is the instrumental music program.
Do you play?
I do, not professionally, but I could play the trumpet. Everyone can play the piano because all you got to do is press a key.
Yeah.
But
hey, bring that old trumpet. It's like a bugle, though. Can you play a bugle?
Yeah, sure.
What's the difference between a bugle and a trumpet?
I think bugle's smaller.
It doesn't have the keys on top. I
don't know. I'm not sure.
You blow taps.
I'm not sure. I know a flugelhorn. I know a cornet, trumpet, bugle. I'm not sure.
But we have an old discolored bugle in the back there.
Okay.
It's got some
yeah, bring it out. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know if it has a mouthpiece though.
Well, I need a mouthpiece.
Okay. So how did you get involved in this? Now you graduated from one of the schools.
I graduated from all the schools. PS 96, 135.
Yeah. And those are all the schools that need the instrument.
Well, Christopher Columbus still has an instrumental music program. Another legendary teacher, Carmen LaBoy, taught there from 1985 when I was born up until 2000 and I believe 2008, 2009, and they have a teacher that has taken over the program, Mr. Okendo, who Ms. LaBoy is helping in continuing that program. However, the two neighboring schools in the area, PS 96 and MS 135, have nothing, and it's very important because they're feeder schools to Columbus High School. If those two schools don't have instrumental music programs, Columbus's program's going to suffer.
Yeah. Do you have any leaders that are helping you out with this? Any political leaders in our community?
We have support, but mostly it's really reaching out to people in the neighborhood. We've gotten a lot of generosity from residents. The media has helped. Daily News has helped with that article. Good. I got a lot of phone calls. My organization got a lot of emails with people wanting to donate instruments because we might be in a recession, we might be in a depression, but there's I mean, the city, the country, people tend to be materialistic. I mean, like it or not, people keep stuff. Yeah. And I always knew people had violins, saxophones, trumpets sitting in the closet doing nothing. As an heirloom, say, oh, I used to play this, 20 years ago, but I've never played it since. What are you doing with it? have it go to a good cause and change a kid's life by letting them learn the saxophone.
Yeah, there you go. Now, you're starting this after-school program, or you got it? Is it off the ground yet?
It's not off the ground because we're still the instrument donation. It's pretty much we've gotten over 20, and there actually are still some instruments that we have to dust off in the music closet in MS 135, which is a good surprise.
Dust them off, shine them up a little
yes,
bit. You know?
we're in the process of hiring a teacher. Well, not we, but the Department of Education is.
Sure.
I'd say hopefully by November, December, we could get this off the ground. Again, it's going to be after-school program, and in this day and age, when you have all these small schools operating within one school, that's the best way to go.
And what does this do for students? How important is this project to keep music and instrumentation in our schools?
Well,
keep the arts in our schools.
Over the past 5-10 years, a lot of education has been centered around math, science, and unfortunately, most importantly, teaching to the test.
Yes.
And a lot of kids, including myself, it's boring. It's not exciting.
Yeah.
When you go to science lab and you get to dissect a frog. Sorry for all the vegetarians. It's something hands-on. You get to do it. You get to experiment. Same thing with music, but you get to do that every day.
Yeah.
And the most important aspect is you get to build a skill. Maybe you won't be able to get a job for it later in life, but it builds your self-esteem. You could do something, you could create something, and that, out of anything, is the most important thing that you get out of education.
And there's math and music, you know.
There's math and music, there's reading and music, there's science and music, there's everything in music.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that could be a way to go.
It is a way to go.
Let's teach through music.
Music is instrumental.
There you go. All right, so where do we go from here? How do you want it to look?
What's it look?
And this whole program, how do you want people to see your program?
Yes, the program, of course, we want to put a light on the importance of instrumental music, music ensembles, and education. But we also want to make it a point. A lot of parents aren't as involved in education as they should be. But what's also a factor is a lot of communities aren't involved in education. You know, sometimes there aren't community leaders, people who are involved in the neighborhood, actually going into schools, seeing what's on, forming relationship with the teachers, the staff, and we want to. One of the aspects of this program is we want to have a community presence within the school, so we could really be of assistance in helping to raise the kids in our neighborhood.
Well, how do you do that?
Well,
with a community presence inside the school.
Well, I think just as this
get more parents involved.
Get more
the parent-teacher meetings. You know, make sure the community comes and get involved in your child's education.
Absolutely, and also when you have this, it's been goodwill on both sides. The schools of 135 have seen what we want to do to develop a music program, and we've seen the good work that they do. And as we work together more and more over the coming months in starting this program, you know, one hand washes the other. It becomes a mutualistic, holistic relationship.
So how do you want people to get involved?
Well, as of right now, the instrument donations would be great if anyone. Actually, we're looking for string instruments.
Okay.
My personal dream is to have an orchestra in the Pelham Parkway, Allerton area.
Yes.
But we do have potential music applicants as well as former teachers in the neighborhood who have a background in string and orchestral ensemble.
Beautiful.
So if people have violins, violas, cellos, even upright basses, it would be more than welcomed, and they could email or call the number, I believe. Hopefully you'll put it on the screen later in the program.
No, what is the number?
The number to call is 347-654-7044. You could also text message that number, and email address is bxparkeast@gmail.com, 10 letters.
Yeah, there it is right there.
There we are. Correct.
Your wish is our command. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. All right. Chairman Raphael Schweitzer, thank you so much for sharing all that wonderful information with us. And everybody, let's help out. You know, lend a hand, help our students become successful. We've got to take a quick break right here. I promise it's going to be a quickie, but when we return, we'll get a preview of the award-winning film, You are not alone. But first, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., he held his annual ceremony to remember the 143rd Bronx residents, 143 Bronx residents whose lives were taken in the September 11th attacks. I remember that all so vivid. Let's take a look.
It was a day of remembrance. From the New York State Court's Pipes and Drums, America the Beautiful, to the Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls' Star Spangled Banner, the Bronx hosted a ceremony to remember that fateful day when so many lives were taken away.
Oh God, embrace their souls, protect their families. Oh Lord, embrace the firefighters and the police officers, those who gave their lives trying to save so many men and women.
But I should tell you that on that terrible day, we lost some very brave court officers as well. And so we thank all of these brave men and women for their sacrifice then, their sacrifice today, and for the sacrifices that they will make that are yet to come.
Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. welcomed family, friends, and uniform workers there to remember their many comrades that ran into the World Trade Center and never came out.
To say thank you to the men and women in uniform, to our New York City Police Department. Let's give them a strong round of applause. To honor the men and women of our fire department. Let's give them a strong round of applause. To honor those in EMS and EMT and also the court officers that were there that gave them this. Let's give them a strong round of applause.
Among those new to the ceremony, the mother of firefighter Manuel de Valle, Griselle Moyer, traveled with her husband from Boston.
We miss him terribly. It gets worse and worse each year. As the year goes by, it does not get better for a mom not to have their loved one there.
Manny had talked a lot about the World Trade Center, the difficulties of fighting fires there. He didn't talk about bombing it, but they had over 100 elevators. Radio systems were very difficult to operate. They had a new radio system. He talked about it constantly.
Ilia Rodriguez travels to the Bronx each year from Florida. Her daughter carried a photo from Newsweek magazine showing her brother, Carlos Ray Lilo, a paramedic from Jacoby, who was taking people out of the buildings.
This picture I started crying because of my brother. I was seeing over there, taking a lady out of the building. But we have all the proof, we have all the pictures with the same photographer. He took a lot of pictures of him.
Hopefully the family of those that perished on that fateful day feel like we did some justice to the memory of their loved ones.
The event was emceed by BronxNet's own Derek Woods.
Thank you once again to the men and women of the FDNY, the New York Police Department, the courts officers, everyone who has made today the type of event that we are truly proud of. To all of the family members, God bless you, and let's give them a round of applause.
It's been 12 years, but the loss is still felt here in the Bronx, where over 140 people were remembered right here. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
We welcome back, everybody. We welcome you to the show. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. You're not alone, I'm telling you. We got a whole community checking it all out. You're Not Alone is an award-winning film exploring issues faced by gay black men. Joining us today to share more about the film is producer Antoine Craigwell and award-winning Guyanese singer, songwriter Naj. Welcome you guys to the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, now tell us more about the film. What made you want to put this film together and what's it all about? Quick synopsis.
Quickly, I started out hearing stories from a lot of people, black gay men, about their struggles with depression.
Yes.
And realized that as a journalist myself, I wanted to do a book because there was nothing out there for them, no material, no resources.
Right.
And so as a part of the book process, realizing I couldn't get an agent or a publisher, nobody's interested in publishing or, about black gay men,
right.
That I decided to do a documentary and ask some of the same guys who interviewed for the book if they'd be willing to sit in front of a camera. And then is when it hit me how profoundly groundbreaking this would be.
Yeah.
To have black men, black gay men, sit in front of a camera and talk about something that they've been told that is part of the history of black people. You got to keep quiet. And so these guys sat in front of the camera, told their stories, and then we hired Stanley Bennett Clay, the writer, to write the script, and he directed reenactments of some of the stories that we heard. And a few weeks later, we had a film.
Yeah. And what inspired you to write that or put the film together?
Well, some of it was based on my own personal experience and realizing that when somebody is dealing with depression, they usually feel as though they're the only person on the face of the earth who's going through this. And they need to realize that there are other people around them, there may be other people in the community who are experiencing the same things. The circumstances may be slightly different, but they're experiencing the same thing, the same feelings.
Yes.
And so this is an opportunity for them to say, well, look, you know what? Let me try to find somebody to talk with. A couple of weeks ago when Lee Young, the actor, the 29-year-old actor in Hollywood, committed suicide,
yes,
it hit everybody as a shock. And the question was that we found out afterward that he was dealing with depression. But did he talk to anybody? Was he seeking any therapy, any help?
So this film or documentary, people can learn that they need to go out and talk to others about their problem or their depression?
Yes. What it helps people do is identify, is puts a face to the issues that they may be dealing with but have never had the courage or the voice to talk about. So it puts a face to that and says, well, okay, if I can see that somebody else is dealing with this issue, then I can go get some help. One of the important things is that from the last segment when you had Robin Saunders on the show,
yes,
with the Bronx Library and the job fair, is that we need to also understand that if somebody is dealing with depression, they don't feel like getting out of of bed.
Yeah.
Every day becomes an effort, a struggle, and then if they do get a job, every day they're late for work, or they're taking time off, or something, so they end up losing the job.
That's
so they
depression.
go back into a cycle of depression, which now they feel worthless, they don't feel good about themselves.
And it only becomes depression if you're depressed more than 2 or 3 days.
Yes. Well, according to the DSM and the American Psychological Association, it says that the American Psychiatric Association, DSM-5, which just came out in May, that says if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with any one of 9 symptoms, 2 or more of 9 symptoms for an extended period of time, for more than 2 weeks, more than 3 months, more than 6 months to a year, then you may be dealing with depression and you may need to seek therapy. However, people should be careful that there is a thin line between dysthymia, which has some of the same symptoms as depression, and major depression. So they need to see a therapist.
Yes.
They need to see a qualified mental health professional.
And what are some of the problems that they're experiencing to cause this depression?
There are a number of things. As a matter of fact, when from the research that I did and the interviews I did for the book, 5 distinct themes emerged. But there are other socio-cultural, socioeconomic, and psychosocial factors at play. Some of the 5 themes, or the 5 themes that emerged from the book and the research, was sexual identity, orientation, racism, and homophobia as one. The role of the church and religion as another. Sexual abuse and trauma as another. An HIV diagnosis. And then there's bullying, cyber and school bullying and peer bullying, and even adult bullying.
So a lot of those things could be running parallel.
Yes. And then there's also the growing old and the feeling of isolation and loneliness that causes depression.
Yeah. And you have come up with ideas on how to get out of that. But before we get into that, Naj, what part do you play?
So Antoine actually contacted me. He told me what the project was. And I have experienced depression as well, and I'm a singer-songwriter, so, I immediately jumped on board because, depression is just, it's still a bit, it you can't function. And I wanted to use my talent to help, spread the message.
So some of this is in your lyrics?
Yeah.
About depression?
Yeah. It's a song specifically written for the film.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. There you go. So, how do you come out of this? I mean, a lot of people, do you have them go seek therapy, or you have some answers in the documentary?
Well, we do have answers in the documentary, and the documentary's co-executive producer is Dr. Jeffrey Gardier.
Oh, yes.
And so
he
one of the
work
things,
with us at WLIB.
Precisely.
WLIB Radio.
Actually, he's representing the production in Montreal on Thursday for the Montreal International Black Film Festival.
Uh-huh.
But he says that one of the things he says is that you first have to learn to accept yourself.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And it's part of that process of an individual accepting himself that he begins to overcome. One of the things we advocate is that on our website we have a portal where you put in your state's 2-letter code, and it pulls up mental health professionals in the states that you are.
Yes.
So you can find a mental health professional in your state. But one of the things that we advocate and we urge people to remember is that when you go to see a mental health professional, just as that professional is going to interview you to see if you can pay the bill, if you're going to turn up on time for appointments, and if you have insurance, you need to ask the professional, especially if you're a black gay man.
Good to know.
How comfortable are you with black people? Do you know black culture? How comfortable are you with somebody who's lesbian, gay, bisexual? And how comfortable are you with somebody who's black and gay? And if the therapist cannot satisfactorily answer any of your questions, just simply say, excuse me, thank you very much, and get up and leave, and find somebody else.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make sense going to sit down in front of a therapist for 50 minutes, paying money.
Yes.
And then that person is
you're not getting what you need.
You're not getting what you need.
Treated right.
It's like going to a church.
Yeah.
Where you're getting beat up by the pastor and the congregation, but you're still throwing the collection.
And you're not getting the help that you need.
No.
Hey, listen, we need to talk more. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll check out we'll take a look at the trailer, We Are Not Alone, and when we return, Naj, she's going to perform for us on stage. Good?
Thank you.
Good
Yes.
deal. All right. Lots of good information. Okay. We'll take a break and come right back after this.
Still in the closet about my homosexuality. I'm still trying to come to grips with being gay.
Being raised in the church, that was a big, big no-no.
The good books say a marriage is between a man and a woman.
What's wrong with you? Do you need to see somebody? Do you need help?
That was the one thing that severed any relationship that we ever could have.
I was promiscuous, and I stopped counting after 100. Hey, my experience, if that's what you want to call it.
I was actually a college student at 19 dealing with HIV.
If I'm going to die anyway, why am I fighting?
I just wasn't happy anymore with life or myself.
I think I was kind of forced into believing that this was just a part of life.
I guess I knew when I woke up in the hospital on a gurney, being wheeled into the emergency room after taking a handful of muscle relaxers. That was a clear sign that something was up. The problem is in your head at the moment, so you gotta talk to other people. You've got to share what's going on inside.
You just kind of got to get over your homophobia.
You need to pray and ask for forgiveness.
It's not as simple as that.
Because often their voices have not been heard. Your voice is part of your body. It needs to be connected to who you are.
It's who we be. I don't do black, I be black. I don't do male, I be male. I don't do gay, I be gay.
This is you, and this is how God made you, and this is, I believe, how God has made me.
Talk about that pain being in an anti-gay and black world.
We are not meant to be inauthentic for very long.
So I don't have to be perfect being me. I just have to be me.
Well, what are you going to do on the last day of judgment? I said, I'm going to say to Allah, Allah, get you a big popcorn, a giant soda, and let the video roll.
And welcome back, everybody. You know, we've been talking to Naj and Antoine and the whole crew. Very, very good information, and I'm glad that you were able to be a part of that documentary that's coming out. You know, it's right on point, you know, and we hope that you get some of the answers to some of the things that you're suffering from also. So you're going to take us home with a song?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to do this, and then you do that right out. I'm going to throw it to you. Boom. Cool. You play football? I'll hand it off to you. All right, we have to close the show. Thank you so much for being a part of it all. And Naj is going to kick it for us, but always remember this. What you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. I'll catch you on tonight right after The Quiet Storm with Lenny Green. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. We love you all. Peace. Here's Naj. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Here we go.
Clouds of doubt would seize me, stealing every joy I own. But then I heard the word that saved me. Learn how to be my guide. I turned my thoughts to freedom. Your freedom lives inside. This life is worth it. You could make it down this road. Your life would work out. Just let love bear your load. You're not alone. That's the voice that wakes inside. You're not alone. Couldn't find anyone to care. My shame and fear oppressed me, pulling me into despair. But then I touched the sound of silence, let my soul fly high on love. I heard the Spirit saying, you were born to rise above. And this life is worth it. You could make it down this road. Your life would work out. And just let faith share your load. You're not alone. That's the voice that wakes inside. You're not alone. Of aggression, let it go. Your constant obsession, let it go. With your imperfections, let life flow. Commence your affirmation, let life flow. Read helpful information, let life flow. Start raising your vibration. You'll be laying the foundation. Only hope is your salvation. You're not alone.